All right, item 19, the public records
This is a public service.
counselor.
Yeah, and I don't know if all of you or who of you are aware of this, but apparently the town, through the deputy clerk, received a public records request, and that request was for all of the town clerk's emails for the past 3 years. Now, when any governmental entity gets a public records request that is that large, I mean, the town clerk is busy, and there are, I'm sure, thousands and thousands and thousands of emails. It actually takes a very, very long time to go through a request like that. The difficulty isn't technological. You have the means to make those emails available probably with the, snap of the fingers. The problem is that we have to go through each and every single email to determine whether there's a reason that it should be exempt from disclosure. Because sometimes there's certain things we can't or we shouldn't reveal to the public at any rate. So basically that would require your town staff to go through all those emails. It would take, hundreds of hours. It would cost thousands of dollars. And the good part of this is that, assuming the public records request is valid, we can force the requester to pay up front for some or all of the expense. So that can help with the burden up front. It also tests whether it's really valid or it's just someone trying to cause trouble. But I'm not able right now to find out who actually requested it, because the only person who knows is the deputy town clerk. I've requested the deputy town clerk to give me the identity, and I think she's away right now. So it may just be that, she's on vacation or whatever, but I don't have that information, and I'd like to ask for the town council to direct that information be given to me. The reason is that normally when we get a public records request, we've got 5 days before they can sue us for any reason. And if we lose that lawsuit, we pay their attorney's fees. I don't know if we're being set up. I don't know what's going on. But what I want to be able to do is ask the person who's requesting it, do you really want everything, or is there something you want to narrow? Because otherwise it's going to cost thousands and thousands of dollars, and it's going to take a long time to do. Does this make sense?
So what do you need?
So moved.
Well, the direction, have you got a specific idea, Lisa, on what Christian had directed the town council to approve?
He wants the name of the person requesting it.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think it's got to be. Does it not have to be a legitimate request? And in order for it to be a legitimate request, it either needs to be, I'm guessing, in writing or in an email or.
No, so this is interesting. It's a good question. Whether we receive a public records request by writing or even orally, we have to respond to it. And actually, I'll go one step further. In fact, if we get an anonymous public records request, if someone makes up some Gmail address and emails Lisa requesting, we've got to respond. Now, if we impose a cost on them, they still have to pay it, and maybe by their means of paying, we'll figure out who it is. But it doesn't really matter. It's not up to us to determine whether something's valid or not. We just have to do it. That's what concerns me about this. And normally I wouldn't. I'm sorry?
I know we can't ask who they are, so can you? You can do that as a council?
No. We can always ask who they are. It's just, it doesn't matter for our purposes. We have to respond.
Well, that's my question, Christian, is whatever it takes to respond, we need to respond, no doubt about it. I don't know how you respond, though, when you don't have any idea who to respond to except for the deputy clerk.
Well, that's my concern. That's why I'm not trying to make this a big deal. It's just, if we screw up a public records request response, we get hit with who knows how much in attorney's fees. And there's people out there, I don't know if you've heard about them, but they go around just making requests from cities and counties, and they sue if they don't get the records in the time that they're supposed to get them, and they make money that way. So I suspect that's not the case here. You know, that seems like I don't know what they're after. It doesn't really matter. They're entitled to the emails. But I can't ask questions
What
to
direction
help.
do you need?
I just need permission. I would like the town council to instruct that the identity be disclosed to me.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion on it? Christian, I do have one question on this. All right, regardless of who, if you find out or who the person is, once we respond to them or find out who it or whatever, how long do we have to get them that information?
So, first of all, let me answer that in two parts. I'm not trying to do the lawyer thing, but the first part of that is I want to know if there's a way we can narrow the requests so that we can actually do it quickly and cheaply. So that's just what I want to know from them. But the second part is we have a reasonable amount of time. So Florida law isn't specific. It's not 15 days. It's not 30 days. What we have to show is due diligence, that once we get a request, we don't ignore it, that we don't apply our own time frame on it. And I think presumptively, normally 30 days is considered reasonable, but it changes based on the request.
Well,
This one, Mayor, let me be very clear. This one will not be 30 days.
Yeah,
I mean, there's
say,
no way we'll be able to get this done in 30 days.
With somebody requesting three and a half years of email
Yeah.
and having to go through 30 days and I don't think would be enough time to go through them all.
There is no way.
If they were wanting a broad.
Well, and because there's all kinds of exemptions. There's social security numbers. There's things like that. And by the way, our IT guy may be able to help us develop a search algorithm that helps eliminate some of the exempt documents. But you're going to be working with me in order to do this too, and that's going to depend on my time. That's going to cost the town money. So we actually have to formulate how long it's going to take, what is the cost, and then make them pay for as much of it as we can up front, like a deposit.
Now, are we still within the window to respond to or get the information for that?
We are, but they could sue us today, right now, as it is, to determine that maybe we haven't been doing what we should. And I don't want to get into that issue. I don't want to get into who's responsible. I just want us to be able to deal with it. And by the way, maybe they withdraw the request once I start asking questions. That'd be the best thing, if we don't have to deal with it, but they're entitled to it.
Well, okay. Okay. All right. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor? Opposed? All right. Thank you, Christian.
Thank you.
The thing that I wanted to add is have a workshop June 1st, 6:30 to talk about this consent agenda again, broach that subject again. And because you look at other than the last two, the last 6 or 7 items could have been handled by one motion.
A couple of those can be handled by an email.
So, I'd like to
The
revisit.
truck purchases, those don't have to be on here. They can just send an email just saying, here's where we are in our budget. You can have them highlighted. Just say that they were purchased.
I still want to talk about this.
If we get now that's the thing. Well, and we can talk about this whenever we get our workshop, but I'd like to set up a workshop for the June 1st at 6:30.
Motion to set up a workshop. June 1st.
Got a motion and a second. All those in favor? Opposed? Thank you.
We're out here today to ensure our natural rights are respected by those who swore an oath to support, protect, and defend the rights of the people. The purpose of all interactions is to peacefully promote government accountability and transparency. Please like, share, and subscribe so this message can reach as many people as possible. I implore you to peacefully seek redress to any and all of your grievances. This is a public service.